All right, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Kevin Peters, and I'm the Emergency Management Director for Leon County, Florida. This is our afternoon press briefing on the response and recovery to Hurricane Hermine. Since Hurricane Hermine made landfall nearly 40 hours ago, our community has made significant progress in our recovery and restoration efforts. Dozens of public work crews and utilities crews have been clearing trees and restoring power, making sure we return to normal. This work began literally minutes after the winds died down. While the winds have passed, we are working hard to restore power, remove downed trees from our roadways, and maintain public safety. To highlight some of the accomplishments we've been making in public safety, I introduce up now Sheriff Mike Wood for an update.
Thank you, Kevin. So, as every time, I just want to recognize our first responders in this community. We continue to work what we refer to as Alpha Bravo, which are extended shifts for the extended 24/7 coverage. Tallahassee Police Department and the Sheriff's Office have worked very, very closely in this process. We've accepted some assistance to extend that just a tad from our state resources moving forward. Since the beginning of this event, we've received 6,900 calls here at the Consolidated Dispatch Agency, and up to date, 2,200 of those calls were 911 calls. As I've stated earlier, and we're very proud of, from the very beginning of this event, we have not failed to answer a priority one call. We had some reduction of services during the height of the storm, but that is it in its entirety. We've been able to take care of the county from a public safety perspective as a result of our collaboration and our efforts jointly. Many of the roads continue to be impacted. There's a lot of work and a lot of successes, but certainly the roads are still impacted. So we would just continue to ask our community, if it's not absolutely necessary for you to move about, that you try to minimize your travel and stay home whenever possible. Our intersections have been greatly improved by the efforts of the city of Tallahassee, and you'll hear a little more about that, I'm sure. And so our red lighted intersections are coming back online fairly rapidly, but they're not all back online. So as we encounter those circumstances, I ask you to be patient and be aware, because now that it's an intermittent circumstance, you may see red lights and then unexpectedly run into an intersection that the red lights aren't working. I remind you they're to be treated as four-way stops, and to please use patience and caution. So with that said, we're going to continue our extended shifts going forward, just to ensure the safety of our public motoring during the day and the safety of our commercial and residential areas at night. And with that, I'm going to introduce Mayor Andrew Gillum.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sheriff. The sheriff stumbled and said yesterday, but you were actually right. We've been at this for a while, but the storm did come in late Thursday, overnight Thursday, Friday morning, and yesterday was Friday. But because of the amount of work and energy that folks are exerting, it's easy to understand why we feel like it's been much longer. Since our last update, the joint efforts of the city and the county, we've restored power to some 25,000 households in this community. We think that is a very, very good pace. The numbers are clearly going in the right direction. But with that being said, we know that it is still challenging for those folks in our community who are still without power. Recall this was a significant event, and our community is doing its very best to respond to it. Those facilities that have been restored include obviously residential neighborhoods, businesses, and as of this afternoon, also Florida State University. Our public safety officials at TPD and the Sheriff's Office have been operating at Alpha Bravo mode around the clock, which has placed more uniformed first responders in the community to ensure public safety and security. We've got over 170 officers deployed at any given time. And actually on the way in, the chief was remarking that the rates of crime are actually below what they might otherwise or normally be. So that's a good sign. As it relates to our power restoration efforts, we're working, frankly, at unprecedented coordination levels in this community, involving 8 other utilities from around the state of Florida, Louisiana, in the state of Georgia, to help restore power to the citizens around our community. We're very grateful to those partners, and I just want to name them for a moment: the Kissimmee Utility Authority, the Orlando Utility Commission, the City of Thomasville Utilities, Lafayette in Louisiana Utility System, a private sector partner here, Gulf Power, who has 23 crews, the City of Barlow, the City of Lake City, as well as the Jacksonville Beach utility. I mentioned the unprecedented nature of that level of coordination because not many communities have that many utility organizations operating in one place at one time. And I'm extremely appreciative of the work that those folks has selflessly given to our community to get Tallahassee and Leon County up and running. We're also working with activated crews from our partners at the Florida Department of Transportation who have provided support reconnecting our traffic lights, our traffic signals that were impacted by our lights going out. They've also been helpful in clearing debris in our city. In total, we have over 100 members of our staff on the ground. Dozens more are working around the clock here at the emergency management facility, helping to coordinate effective and timely response. For the families who are still without power, we're doing everything that we possibly can to make sure that we're able to get our systems up and going. This electricity, has the ability to take lives. Is a very powerful instrument that requires strong coordination to ensure safety for all people, but also to ensure that we're moving at the most efficient and effective pace that we possibly can. That coordination is critical. The city and the county have coordinated several what we're calling comfort and cooling stations around the community where folks can get access to food and water, charging stations, very importantly, and access to other resources that clearly may not be available in their homes if they're still without power. Some of these locations are the Lake Jackson Library. The Salvation Army has provided canteen services there, Woodville Library, Fort Braden Community Center, Cheers Community Center, Miccosukee Community Center, and additionally, Jack McLean Park, one of our city facilities, and the Sue Herndon McCullough Community Center at Lafayette Park are both open for children and families, and pool access has been made free at those centers for any of our families who want to take the kids, keep an eye on them, but let them get some cooling. Those centers will be open from 12 p.m. Until 9 p.m. In short, I just want to say that our staffs are really working around the clock, and literally in the case of our utility workers as well as those who are here at our command center. We're asking you to please stay engaged via our social media, via the city TalGov site, obviously the Leon County webpage, digitally, obviously to report incidences, and of course our emergency number should there be anything life-threatening. I want people to be assured that the people of this community, and I've had the opportunity earlier today to visit folks who have been impacted with trees having come in on their homes, elderly folks who are in very, very hot and heated conditions, families with young kids. And it's been amazing to me and extremely refreshing to see the ways in which our community has come together to support one another, to be there for each other. Nobody's happy about being out of power, but the way in which our citizens are dealing with this so constructively is extremely heartening for us. And then lastly, a deep appreciation to all of our employees who, we sometimes forget about this, but folks who are leaving their families, who are rushing toward the danger to help others who have children that are showing up and again are doing these round-the-clock exercises. Their efforts shouldn't be lost on any of us. It's been a tremendous assist during this difficult time. With that, I want to bring to the podium my colleague, County Commission Chairman Bill Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. I am certainly, as the mayor has pointed out, very empathetic with the degree of anxiety that citizens are feeling across our community. On yesterday evening, I asked my father, is it really true that where you grew up and when you grew up, you really didn't have air conditioning, Daddy? Y'all didn't have no lights. And my father assured me that people can live without those things. And believing my father that you can live a few days without lights and air and those kinds of comforts, I trust that the resilience of our community and those who've experienced this before, that we'll be able to remember when it was not that way. Efforts to bring it back, however, to the level of comfort of 21st century standard are well underway. I'm most pleased today to note the the agreement, the teamwork, the togetherness of all these officials who are working. There's no perfect manual to go by in the recovery of a situation like this. And a lot of this is intuition, instinct, and you just do the best that you can. I'm very pleased, however, in the midst of all of what is occurring, to note that in the unincorporated area, Talcon Electric reports that electricity has been returned to almost 7,000 customers, and they are definitive in their projection that 95% of service restoration will be complete within 3 to 4 days. I am also pleased to note the good work that is occurring from our Red Cross. They've opened comfort shelters. We have, as of 3 p.m. today, we've seen 1,700 citizens who have come to our library events, to the public library, and have been able to eat and to get some water, use the computer, and to reach out to the world and to say that what their conditions are of being well. We will continue this operation from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the main library. The American Red Cross will continue its overnight operations at Florida High. Here at Florida High, for persons with special medical needs, that is the place that you want to go. And this shelter will remain open as long as the public has needs. We are also pleased to announce that more than 80,000 bottles of water are being located at 5 locations throughout the county, the outer county, and at 4 of these sites, we've worked close with the Salvation Army, who is also doubling down to provide hot meals to persons who are in need of a hot meal. We're really excited. And let me just say that from the vantage point of the responsibility of leadership, it is indeed challenging, our response. Will it meet expectation? Will it be timely? Will we be graded from a posture that we've done and we're doing our very best? But let me also say that the other half of viewing this moment is to realize the very special coming togetherness that is being shared, and something you just can't plan, and a textbook don't give you the know-hows and how to do it when this kind of effort among these many outstanding leaders of our community. So crews are continuing to remove hundreds of trees that have fallen so that the power and the traffic can get moving. And I know that both the citizens of Leon and Tallahassee are going to, at some point, look back on this moment, and hopefully, in looking back on this moment, we can celebrate that we came through together. And I want to reiterate, as I did yesterday, that there has been no report of casualties or fatalities, and that is good news. So as long as the damage is being assessed in terms of trees and houses, and those things are important, but we have not had one citizen soldier to be fallen by death to what has been a storm that has left great devastation. And then finally, we would ask of a public that as you're using generators and so forth, that you would be responsible. As you're using candles, that you would be responsible, and that as you're enduring a little extra heat, that you would be responsible and try to remain hydrated. These are the efforts that have come forward. We're pleased to report to you today, and I'm certain other reports will be coming forward in the future. May I now bring forward Mr. Kevin Peters, our Director of the Leon County Emergency Management.
Thank you. I'd just like to reinforce the need to report storm damages. If your property has been damaged, your home, or if you encounter debris on the streets in our community, you may report those to the Leon County Emergency Operations Center at area code 850-606-3700. And stay informed on updates from the emergency response effort by utilizing Leon County's emergency information portal on the internet at leoncountyfl.gov/EI, or by visiting the City of Tallahassee's website at talgov.com. And as always, if you're encountering a life-threatening emergency, call 911. With that, we conclude our afternoon briefing. Thank you.